Well, one of the more interesting but mysterious aspects of Young Justice is the expanding Marvel family. We got to know Captain Marvel pretty well in the first couple of years, and Sergeant Marvel, aka Mary Blomfeld, obviously was a big part of Season 4. But many fans have wanted to know where Freddy Freeman is, and believe it or not, he has finally appeared in the Young Justice universe. Let's take a couple minutes to talk about Freddy Freeman, the Marvel family, and where he finally came to life in the world of Earth 16. Well, as many of you know, the character known as Freddy Freeman, aka Captain Marvel Jr., has been a huge part of the comics for a really long time. Now, us fans of Young Justice know Earth 16 has pretty unique takes on these characters, and Greg Weisman and team didn't disappoint here. We all got to know Captain Marvel in the first 2 seasons, and then in Season 4, we got to know Sergeant Marvel, aka Mary Blomfeld. Now, if you're a fan of Young Justice, there's actually a long-running history of these characters that have almost appeared several times, with Freddy Freeman being part of that group, but never actually being brought to life. Well, until now. In the Young Justice universe, Freddy was actually one of Billy Batson's best friends in school, and this has been confirmed by Greg Weisman to be part of the timeline between 2011 and 2012. Now, Captain Marvel actually gave Freddy, along with Mary, 1/3 of his power, and then having Freddy take up the name of Lieutenant Marvel instead of Captain Marvel Jr., along with Mary taking up the title of Sergeant Marvel. Now, both the characters actually joined the Young Justice team, and were part of that lost era we've talked about on this channel several times. Actually, when he was part of the team, Freddy's designation was B-14. Now, we never actually got to see Freddy almost throughout the whole run of Young Justice. Freddy was scheduled to appear in the original companion comic run. As a matter of fact, artist Christopher Jones has spoken to it a couple of times, so has Greg Weisman, and there was supposed to be a time period that we got to know the rest of the Marvel family fairly well. Up until last year, we had only met Billy Batson along with Uncle Dudley, but the comics and the developers had confirmed the existence of these other characters. Now, we do know some art was developed for the comics, and artist Christopher Jones has said that one of his art pieces, you should be seeing it right now, actually features the costume design for the character that would have eventually made it into the series. Now, as many of you know, Young Justice Season 4 has completed, and so has Young Justice Targets, and that might ultimately be the last we see of the series. And closing out the series, we actually got our first and only look at Freddy Freeman, aka Lieutenant Marvel, on Earth 16. Now, if you were following the comic series, and if you're not, I've linked it down below, you need to jump on that. They were really great. The comic actually closed out with a flashback sequence, and this flashback featured the funeral of Wally West. Now, you should be seeing the picture right now, and there's a lot of familiar faces. All of these characters were part of the series and made their way to the funeral. Pretty much every major member of the team, as well as the Justice League and supporting characters, are here. And when you make it over to the right-hand side, you might see some familiar faces. As we zoom in, that's Billy Batson on the left, that's Mary Marvel, and then sitting on that chair that Plastic Man made is Freddy Freeman. You might actually notice the cane in his hand as he's sitting there. Now, this is actually the first time we ever saw Freddy in the Earth 16 universe, which is a pretty big deal. Now, like with everything Young Justice, we all want a little bit more, and now that we have a first peek at Freddy, I hope this does happen for the Young Justice series. It is a shame to have waited so long to finally get a little teeny peek at Freddy, but it was pretty great they finally acknowledged the character, gave him just this one panel of time, and that we finally know who he is. Now, I know if the series does manage to continue, that Mary will be at the center of one of the major stories. We actually left her becoming Black Mary and joining Darkseid's Furies, along with Supergirl. So obviously there's huge plans for those characters moving forward, and I can't imagine the redemption of Mary doesn't involve both Captain Marvel and Lieutenant Marvel. Obviously, we follow everything Young Justice on this channel, and we got lots more stuff coming your way. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button to get all of your Young Justice updates. But until next time, what do you guys think? Would you have liked to have seen Freddy Freeman show up earlier in the Young Justice series? And what did you think of this little peek of Freddy in the finale comic? Tell me what you think in the comments below. If you like this video, make sure you hit like, click subscribe, and if you don't ring that bell, you won't get any updates. Peace.